Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Drama or Hum. I'm Aisha from Lahore, Pakistan,
Hi, I'm Mariam from Mumbai, India.
and we both love Pakistani dramas. और आज हम रिव्यू कर रहे हैं फरार और कर्ज़े जान. So,
Yeah.
Mariam, as always, should we do Faraar first or कर्ज़े जान first?
Let's do Faraar first. It's fine.
Faraar first? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your thoughts? I
Why
have
don't
a
you
feeling. I
start?
think
You
okay.
start.
So basically, I think we jinxed it a little bit. Because we said that last week every story got its own share. I
Hmm.
feel like this, and also because they have only one episode per week. So this week we only really saw one scene, I think, from Hamza Ali Abbasi's story, from Batish's story on that charpai,
Hmm.
जिसमें हमें ये पता चल गया कि वो जो सिंगर है फारिस शफी, he
Hmm.
has some link with Sohai, with Buggy.
Star to
Then
me,
we
like a
स्टार
star
में,
to
हाँ
me.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, ठीक है. उसके बाद we had a lot of focus on Ahmed Ali Akbar's track,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
police wala, which
Hmm.
I felt like didn't really. Okay, I'll come back to that track at the
Hmm.
end. Then we had one filler scene, I feel, from what's that guy's name? In up north. Um,
Ah, ha,
अभी
ha,
जैसे
ha. Just to,
हाँ
so that we won't forget him,
हाँ
Daniel.
हाँ हाँ, Daniel Zafar. So we had
Ah.
one filler scene for him with the brothers, just to basically
Hmm.
maybe make us feel a bit more emotional about him because you know कि आगे आगे थोड़ा बुरा होने वाला है.
Hmm.
And then we didn't really, and then we had that one long sequence which I enjoyed about that prisoner who is so Sami
Hmm.
Khan is the actor, the prisoner who has escaped.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but उसके अलावा like इतना कुछ, and then obviously that scene with Ahmed Ali Akbar and Sadia. Um,
The nurse also, right? The nurse.
ha, of course.
Uska
That
story.
nurse wala scene, exactly. But now we are going so much into the nurse's scene, the fact that she's pregnant, the fact that, like that scene was maybe 6, 7 minutes long, where the two guys are trying to get an answer out of her.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And I just felt like they could have, given that you're only doing a limited slot with so many stories,
Hmm.
like it was a bit like you could have skipped that part for me personally.
I will disagree. Not on that
Hmm.
particular piece. I think overall, I don't think they did more of something or did less of anything. I think
Hmm.
they tried to kind of move things forward in
Hmm.
all the three tracks which are going to meet
Ha.
the prisoner, the um, Hamza Ali, and Babrik. They're all going to meet, so they're trying to
Hmm.
move them forward. So I
Hmm.
think I didn't feel like they did more of that or less of that. I think the nurses scene probably is. I'm giving them some benefit of the doubt. It's going to be
Okay.
critical because it might play a role in how that dynamic plays out in the with Hamza Ali and his friend, right? So I think it might be something that they're kind of trying to position it now so that later the next episode, maybe let's just assume
Hmm.
that they know why they did that.
Hmm.
Um, One thing where I kind of agree, I mean, not in terms of the airtime or focus, but rather I continue with my stand on the weakness of the storyline with Emma Dalia, that the police storyline.
Hmm.
I think the conversation with the commissioner was weak. Like
The conversation with the.
the his I don't know, his head commissioner, police commissioner, whatever.
Okay. Ha.
I don't know the hierarchy. What
Ha. It's probably like a very senior guy in their chain of
Huh.
command.
So it was like the guy was making valid points that you haven't done anything, and he was like, "No, no, I have done whatever I could." So I think it wasn't really that conversation fell flat because nothing
Hmm.
really came from that. And I mean, the weirdest thing was, "मुझसे शादी करोगी?" I mean, seriously, like
Direct.
it was so weird. Like, forget
Yeah.
directly, ठीक है. The first thing you do is that only when you technically in Pakistan. But अभी तो like ये तुम्हारा नौकरी कुछ हो नहीं रहा है तुम्हारा you know he's like so not focused. I feel like he's all over the place, this guy,
Yeah.
the character.
Yeah.
Like, you don't blame the actor, you
Yeah.
only have to blame the writing, and I think that writing is very weak of
For
that
for
character.
that plot, huh?
Yeah,
I
it's
I
very weak.
completely I would completely agree. So I think all three conversations that he had, the one with his mother,
Yeah.
again, I felt that there wasn't, it was almost like childish from the mother's point of view, I felt, given that the mother is also aware of what all is happening. ठीक है,
Hmm.
I see her little point कि अच्छा, you shouldn't have kicked her out and all of that. The one with the higher up officer again, like मुझे, like there was no ultimatum, there was no sense of urgency after that conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even in that conversation, I didn't really feel okay, like for me, it was a very flat scene. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't building up to something,
Hmm.
and even when the guy left, like the police officer, like the senior guy, just like looked a bit left and right, and I was just like, okay, like
Hmm.
what were they trying to like show?
Hmm.
We already know that he had the
Hmm.
48 hours and he wasn't able to deliver. And again, like the reasons that he was giving were
Yeah.
a bit useless. And even the conversation I felt like with Sadia,
Hmm.
मुझे उसमें इतना वो नहीं लगा उनका आपस में एक
There's no
दूसरे के साथ.
chemistry, and it
हाँ.
feels like अच्छा प्लॉट में लिखा है कि ये दोनों एक साथ हैं तो अभी कैसे
हाँ.
करके भी वो कर
मुझे
लो और
मुझे जो पहले वाले इनके सीन्स थे ना, फॉर एग्जांपल वो जो कब्रिस्तान में था, उनमें
हम्म
मुझे फिर भी थोड़ी केमिस्ट्री
हम्म
फील हो रही थी दोनों कैरेक्टर्स की.
हम्म
मुझे इस एपिसोड में इस तरह फील नहीं हुई. प्लस अगेन लाइक इट वाज अ वेरी फ्लैट टाइप थिंग. ही गोज ही इज लाइक आप आप क्यों आ गई, ये वो. आई लाइक दैट लिटिल that little dialogue where she says you could have stopped me, but again we have heard that dialogue like 15,000
yeah
times. Okay,
yeah
तुम क्यों नहीं रुके, तुमने रोका ही नहीं, type whatever.
yeah
And then she goes to like make the chai or whatever. So I
mm,
didn't feel any palpable chemistry between the two characters
yeah.
in that to justify that we are meant to feel like flutters for them, or we are meant to really get excited about them getting together.
Oh, I mean, I think the flaw is in actually the character build up. I don't think they've defined this character's attributes very well. The police officer, they've
हाँ.
not defined what are his core belief system. What does he actually stand for? Right? It's not clear. That's why he's behaving in such erratic manner. Is his only ambition in life to get back his job, or is it actually
हाँ.
to bring justice? If it's bringing justice, then honestly, they could have turned it around to say, chalo, suspension ya kuch bhi, I don't care. I'm going to pursue it, I'm going to
हम्म.
go find out actually what happened. Like a bit of passion for the job,
हाँ.
right?
हाँ.
Burhan is missing. It's kind of like half-hearted. Even like the investigation, he's like, it feels like he comes across as an entitled fellow where all he wants
Yeah.
is his job and his uniform, and everything
हाँ.
else seems beneath him. Like at least that's the vibe, right? Like when he has to do that security CCTV thing and
हाँ.
he's complaining and he's rolling his eyes.
हाँ.
My point is
Yeah.
like, what does he act? What does his character stand for? It's
हाँ.
not
And
clear. He has
इसकी कोई उस तरह से बैक स्टोरी भी नहीं दी हुई. सो वी डोंट नो कि वेदर ही वाज समबडी हु वाज वेरी गुड एट हिज जॉब, या उसने कोई बहुत केसेस सॉल्व किए हैं या कुछ
ah
ऐसा किया है. There was no backstory. We just
yeah
found out that he is suspended because he had an
yeah
altercation with somebody.
yeah
But even उसमें भी they didn't really show कि what values, as you're saying, कि why was there, like उसमें भी कुछ establish कर सकते थे
yeah like
कि
the thing is
हाँ, कि वो क्यों मतलब सस्पेंड हुआ और क्यों
mm.
इतना जरूरी था. लाइक यू एब्सोल्युटली राइट, स्पॉट ऑन, कि somehow he just wants his वर्दी बैक, कि बस वर्दी मिल जाए मुझे वापस. उसके बाद क्या
ah,
करेगा? Is he gonna like actually go and catch Patish? Doesn't
yeah
seem like it. Like what's his bigger picture? And इस सब के बीच में to then ask that girl to marry him.
yeah
Yeah.
I would be like, I mean, yeah, there's something missing there in that. Like
हाँ.
all of the characters, even if you think about the flawed character of, let's say, take Hamza Ali Abbasi, right?
हाँ.
It's clear now, right? His path in life is clear. He had a background. He did this for that QIP or whatever,
हाँ.
and now he turned over a leaf because he saw that he wants to change for the girl. And when he saw
हाँ.
injustice, when he saw that they're going to kill the wrong guy, he stood up.
हाँ.
Right? There's
हाँ.
something is there. There's some character value. The other guy who was sitting on the charpai also has some very clear characterization, right? Where he lost love, he was in QIP, but he wants to go back. Like there's
हाँ.
some thing they stand for, like something in their
Or what is fueling their actions.
fueling their actions, right? Here he feels a bit aimless. Like I feel like, अच्छा माँ ने कहा उसने कहा देख लो उस it's like just fumbling, right? I find that very
हाँ.
difficult to view, see, and also accept for an actor like him to not question कि अरे ये क्या, what are you writing, what am I doing, you know, like
Hmm.
you should question the script and say I'm not sure what this character is doing, you know. I
हाँ.
think he has the, I'm assuming in, he's not a new actor कि ये
No.
लो कर लो,
हाँ.
you know, so I feel there has to be someone. I don't know if there's still time for them to. So,
To redeem his character, हाँ.
yeah, but
Or
something
to
he
take
needs
it
to find a
somewhere
purpose
where
in
we
life,
can,
you know. I feel
हाँ.
that.
Did you feel changing tracks a little bit? Did you feel that the that link between Hamza Ali Abbasi's friend, Faris Shafiq's character,
Mm,
and that girl,
mm,
Buggy,
mm.
was a little bit far-fetched, given that,
Um, I mean, why not? Why? I mean, they seem, apparently they're all very close near Karachi, right? They're not far. So I didn't know that. I was surprised by that fact.
huh?
But why not? Like, why? Why would it be far fetched?
Because I'm feeling now that they're introducing these characters, ठीक है, with a view, so they know the bigger picture, with
Mm,
a view as to how they will connect to the
mm,
storyline. So for
mm,
me, it's looking, some bits are feeling a bit forced. Now in the teaser for the next episode, you
mm,
find out that Sami Khan, who's escaped from prison,
mm.
is also somehow related to Sadia.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Oh,
didn't
so
see.
in the teaser, he goes to her, and he's
Oh,
some kind of long lost brother or cousin or something, or guardian of some kind.
oh, you know what? Maybe he used to be in QIP, and then he and that writer, journalist, whatever, must have at some point, the father,
Huh.
Sadia's father, must have crossed paths, and he must have then switched away from QIP. You see what I mean? There might
The
be that
father.
history.
You
The
think
father who's
Sadia's
dead.
father?
Yeah, he
Huh.
and they might be linked. Maybe, you know, he's like giving him scoop,
Yeah.
or he's telling him what's
Huh.
actually, you know, there might be some connection there.
Huh.
He might have known the
Watch the
father.
huh. Watch the teaser because उसमें थोड़ा ज़्यादा familial type bond लग रहा था, which I
Mm.
was again like, you're almost too conveniently introducing a character for
And then
us to then
finding
tell us
connection.
in the next episode that,
Uh,
oh, this character is that person's brother, or
they're
that
trying to
person's
wear
ex-love.
like too
हाँ.
many
एंड वही
rules
जैसे
over
वो
there.
लूडो वगैरह, वो जो हम बात कर रहे थे उस दिन की,
Uh-huh.
जैसे वो लूडो फिल्म थी या जो और ऐसी
Yeah,
फिल्म्स
yeah,
होती हैं, या
yeah,
इवन से फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक न्यू ईयर्स ईव, और वो जो all of those movies where there's so many different
yeah, yeah.
subplots and
Mm,
somehow they all end up on
mm,
together.
mm.
So I can see that they're trying to do that.
But maybe they're putting it up. They're pushing it a bit too far, I think, with this one.
हाँ, I think
Yeah.
like I would just like to, मुझे, because दोबारा पेस पे होना शुरू हो गया, like this week I didn't really feel कि
There was no
कुछ बहुत
progression.
आगे गया है. There
Yeah,
was
yeah.
no
No
progression for
progression.
me.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was no.
So
And also,
again,
the
like,
nurse is related to QIP because the brother was in QIP. So that was also like a bit. Everyone in Karachi either is related to QIP, or, you know, is it's like, yeah, it was a
or
bit
is
like,
going to go the donkey route, basically.
it was something.
There are these two things happening. So let's see. I mean,
Yeah.
it is still interesting for me. I still want to know what happens next. There are certain tracks that I am more inclined towards. Like जैसे वो
Mm.
buggy वाला track था, but they showed that one scene of the nikah. वो
That
जो
was not.
buggy और
That was
उसका था.
just to introduce those brothers again back into the show, right?
हाँ.
Yeah.
So I mean, थोड़ा सा वो था कि okay, there's going to. So I think वही बात है कि they know where everybody is going to meet, which is the donkey situation, and now they're showing थोड़ा थोड़ा, because all the stories have different amounts of substance and story in them.
But I think
So
they need to
some
move it forward a bit.
हाँ.
They need
So
to.
where they have more stories, like where they have more things to cover, then
Mm,
maybe they need to, to bring it up to that pace, because up कुछ tracks में it feels like it's just a filler,
yeah, or it's just
uh,
stuck. It's just
or
stuck.
it's just stuck, or it's
Yeah,
just stuck.
yeah. I agree.
Um,
I agree.
or if
Um,
they do the 2 episodes thing, then okay, maybe like everybody gets justice.
yeah.
Huh.
Probably. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, I don't. I have a feeling, unlike what you think, that they're still writing. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I
I
don't.
think they have written and shot the entire thing. So I watched an interview of Hamza Ali Abbasi where he said it's all completed.
Oh, okay, 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 fine.
So, at least like, but then वही बात है कि अगर सारा substance आपके सारा
If
आपके
you can see the
material है,
picture, then you should be able to cut it.
exactly, cut it better
Yeah.
from an audience's point of view.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I'm
so
saying the
so
editor, I think it's a bit of a.
हाँ, अभी अगली एपिसोड में भी मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि they are all going to, that actual story is going to, the donkey story is starting. I may be wrong here completely, and it
Mm,
may well be that this journey to that, like that may just
has
come
a
at
lot
the
of.
end.
Yeah, yeah. Probably that's
That
the end. Who knows? Yeah.
that could be like that could
Yeah.
just be like the last 25% of the show,
Mm.
whereas I'm thinking that that's like 50% of the show where
Yeah.
all the characters are interacting, and like this journey too is the main part.
Hmm.
But overall, in one sentence, where do you rate or where do you stand on Farar's
I mean, I
episode
could
this
have
week?
missed the episode and not missed anything. I guess so. That's the that's my comment.
I don't think I can put it any better
Yeah.
than that. Okay, so moving on to Qarz-e-Jaan for the week.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to share your thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, I can start. I think before we start in the details of the episode, I think one comment I want to make overall for this show is whoever's done the aesthetics of the show
Huh?
has done a good job, right? So
Huh?
normally when you see Pakistani dramas where someone is rich or whatever, then they
Huh?
have really ugly, big, ugly houses or small, ugly houses, right? Like
Huh?
golden furniture, like a lot of like stuff which you're like, okay, if you are if you're so civilized, why can't you be tasteful? But then this is a very tasteful toning.
Tastefully
Whole
done. Huh?
show has very tasteful toning. Colors are
Huh?
pastels, furniture are pastels. Even
Huh?
the shadi ke kapde are not ekdam like
Huh?
wash on the eye.
Huh?
Makeups are not like too gaudy.
Huh?
Everything is very well. It's a very pleasing to the eye. And
Yeah.
taken the tone they've taken is not bright. So some people when they
Huh?
shoot or edit or whatever, they add yellow light, orange light.
Huh?
This is a much more, I don't know what, sepia or whatever that, I don't know.
Yeah. 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 I think it's very beautifully lit. Huh?
Yeah,
The
it's
the
very
show is
well lit.
very
Yeah.
well lit, and also nothing, when you look at a frame for this show, nothing jars out, like nothing is jarring on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
screen, right? It's all it's all done in a similar palette.
Yes,
And
yes.
also you get that old money vibe from that family.
Huh.
However they are, you still get that old money vibe. Like it's not
Right.
like, even with, like, for example, I was a bit scared कि वो bridal outfits में क्या करेंगे या शादी के outfits में क्या करेंगे.
Mm.
But everyone was,
Same tone, right? Pastel
same
tone.
tone.
Yeah, yeah.
Kapde again, like, were different according to different people's. You could see, for example, the mother of the bride was wearing something that was, a bit heavier, but
Mm.
again, like an age appropriate color.
Correct.
Bisma was wearing something that was just the fabric. There was no calm on it,
Yeah.
but just the fabric itself was a fancier fabric,
Mm.
but
Mm.
very plainly stitched like that.
Mm.
And one
Mm.
interesting thing that I noticed was that, so in Pakistan, the darzi, when they don't have enough kapda, they
हाँ,
put a jod on the bazu. ठीक
जोड़
है यहाँ जोड़ like
जोड़
to
हाँ हाँ
stitch.
हाँ समझ गए
हाँ
इधर
हाँ
से
हाँ
स्टिचिंग
जोड़,
करते हैं
right?
हाँ हाँ
So
हाँ, समझ
यहाँ पे
गए
नजर आता है
पर हम
जैसे
यहाँ
एक,
करते हैं वी डू इट
हाँ,
हियर
एक यहाँ पे होता है ना.
अच्छा एक
तो जब
एक्स्ट्रा वाला
जब
ठीक है
कपड़ा कम हो तो वो एक
अच्छा
यहाँ
समझ
पे भी
गए
डाल
समझ
देते
गए
हैं.
हाँ हाँ हाँ
सो आई नोटिस कि बिस्मा का जो शर्ट थी ना,
उसमें था
उसमें जोड़ भी था.
अच्छा
So you
ओके
could tell that, she didn't have the luxury of going and, buying unlimited fabric and all that. So her kapde, but again, they
Do you think
weren't.
that was on purpose? You think you want to believe that? You want to believe it?
Given the attention to detail, I would like to believe that.
I would like to believe. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
हाँ, I would like to believe के वो था.
yeah,
Because otherwise, because you could tell that,
yeah,
her
yeah.
clothes were not as expensive as the
Right,
other
right,
people's clothes.
right.
Even, like she was hardly wearing any jewelry. Even
Mm.
what's her name?
Nashwa.
Yuna's character,
Yeah,
Nashwa. Even Nashwa was not like, wearing some crazy set. जैसे
Yeah,
पाकिस्तान में
yeah.
usually like
Very
शादियों
simple.
पे एक वो set का concept
Makeup.
होता है, like nobody, हाँ, um,
They spared everyone with makeup also, which is good.
हाँ, exactly,
Huh.
exactly, हाँ. So now go on about the episode.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, not a lot. I think it's still keeping with the pace. I enjoyed the episode. I don't have any overly. I loved the romance. I thought it was very cute. It was very
Okay,
cute. I think he's trying to flirt with her, but in a very uh, un, undertoned way, right?
as he is,
Yeah.
everything like is a little
No, but
underplayed.
I
Yeah,
actually
हाँ,
tell you in this episode, I liked him. I thought
हाँ,
he showed a flavor to his
हाँ,
personality when he's like, "Oh, you look very beautiful," but it was clearly not for the bride; it
हाँ.
was for
But the
her.
best thing was when he said, "You look goddamn beautiful. You look
How
damn beautiful,
damn
damn
beautiful!
good, damn good." I
Damn
was like, "Who
beautiful!
says like you look damn good?"
No,
Like
damn good
even
nahi
in
bola. You look very
damn
damn
beautiful.
beautiful. Damn
हाँ,
beautiful is a bit weird, no?
damn
थोड़ा
beautiful
creepy
is a
होगा
bit
ना?
weird because
हाँ.
also if you think about it, this is their cousin who they didn't know that was their cousin
हाँ, वो
2 weeks
I have a
ago.
comment to make. Huh? I have a
हाँ
comment to
मतलब
make on that.
हाँ
So
तो
I'll
मतलब exactly. So on that
Hmm.
one, like do you want to make that comment now because
Yes,
I have to
yes.
make that comment. Yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
I think the comment was I found it very odd that he goes to pick them up. Okay. Ek to, they don't like him. First of all, they don't like the family. So he goes to pick these two up.
हाँ
Then he's in the room of the
yeah.
Vidai. It was so weird. Like, why are you here, man? Like, who are
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I understand that वो जो एंड में चाय पीने जाते हैं वो मुझे समझ आता है
Oh,
but
I understood. Yeah.
who called him like so बड़े अब्बा called him and said कि oh actually
तुम जाओ
बैरिस्टर
उनको
बुरहान
ले
बेटा
लें.
तुम जरा जाके उनको पार्लर से पिक कर लो सैलून से
हाँ,
पिक
वो
कर
चलो
लो
force था, right? I think they
हाँ
were
but
trying to show that thing, but they could have done it in different setting. So he
हाँ
could have seen them at the wedding on the stage and said, you look
yeah
very beautiful. And then
yeah
the
or
time
them coming back from the salon and making an entrance into the house
yeah,
again he could have said something
ah.
there he
And
didn't
the
have to
chai
go
thing
there
didn't have to happen from the room. It could have happened like a separate thing that, I want to see Lahore. I want to see what Karachi or Lahore. I don't know where they are.
हाँ
And the cousin is like Faryal. Faryal is like mujhe
हाँ
karna hai, and they would make a impromptu plan. Chalo, tum bhi
हाँ
chalo. That would have made more sense than he going to the room, taking their photos,
yeah
and the brother
and
is out of the picture. The mother is not. No
exactly
one else is
and
there.
also and I'll be honest right usually brides like bride's random cousin will not be sitting with the bride in that room
Ha, and he's the
right like
ekdam unwanted random, right?
even
Oh,
culturally
oh, is
it's
it?
not like huh because like who is he in the wider context of things right
Hmm.
matlab okay maybe
हाँ,
he's the chauffeur for the day
चाचा
and
चाचा का
again
बेटा ना, their
हाँ,
chachi.
maybe again like the because the Khala is shown to be very fond of Asim and him. So maybe okay she said कि तुम फरियाल और उसको ले जाओ. But again
उन्हें
like I'm just
चाय
wondering
पीनी
they
ना,
had
ब्राइड
no
के साथ क्यों गए?
even के bride के साथ मिलाने ले जाओ या जो भी. But even so like I felt like it was a bit
Forced.
they had
It was
no plan
forced.
they had no other plan no driver to take them
Yeah.
there
Hmm.
so I felt like they wanted to I think they wanted to show him the other side of Nashwa where she's with her cousin and interacting with her in a more carefree way
Hmm.
um so I felt like, and that scene was cute where he said कि individual pictures
हाँ.
भी कर best is when people take photos right like usually when you take a photo you look in the camera like वाह photo क्या ले रहे हो
हाँ.
when people take photo like ये camera है and then you're like सामने देखते हुए जब आप photo लेते हो ना I'm just like I have
मेरा तो
anxiety like
आई नहीं,
please
फोटो ही नहीं
हाँ
है.
I'm like photo तो देख लो कैसी आई है photo right
हाँ.
and
Yeah.
then one other thing, like which is a very minor point, but for me,
Hmm.
I was a bit like, for continuity, in the salon when she's there, the
Hmm.
reason why they make him wait for 15 minutes is so that she can get her hair done.
Hmm. किए ना उससे
Okay?
बाल किए थे.
No, so when she walks out, when he says, "You look damn beautiful," her hair is not done.
It's done. It's done. It's done.
No, it's not. Her hair is aage ko.
नहीं
Then
नहीं.
when she goes home, so then
हाँ.
it is done that very nicely. Check करना दोबारा. Like
नहीं,
her hair is
I also tried to notice कि उसने किया क्या.
हाँ
उसके नीचे वाले बाल ना, but straight
हाँ
in the room, in the salon.
okay
she came
Okay.
out, she had curls. So I thought, वो किया
Okay.
होगा उसने, curl किए हैं बाल. और फिर बाद में
हाँ.
बाल आ रहे होंगे तो pin कर दिया. Like me, after 2 seconds,
हाँ.
hair go up.
हाँ.
So
Okay.
I didn't think she didn't do anything because there was makeup, there was
हाँ.
curls. So I thought that was
हाँ.
the
Okay.
ready.
Okay.
But
अच्छा मुझे एक बात बताओ for the चाय वाला scene. ठीक
hmm,
है? Did you was it confusing for you or was it clear for you
hmm.
ke, who's into who and who do you think like what do you think is the situation right now like who's interested in whom?
I mean, I think it's very clear that Faryal kind of is interested in, not attracted to Burhan yet, but just interested in him as a person because they have
Okay.
similar. He's a lawyer. She's a, like, that, like someone she can connect with probably. So she's trying to kind of converse more with him. He's clearly interested in Nashwa, I think, because even in that chai
Hmm.
wala scene, sure, like out of politeness, you're not going to just look at one person while the other person.
हाँ.
So he's interacting, but he's
हाँ.
constantly pulling her into the conversation. So, what do you think? What are your,
Hmm.
what do you want to do, right?
Hmm.
While, of course, Nashwa there is too in her head
Mind. हाँ.
or Barrister Burhan and too caught up in why they connecting so quickly and
हाँ.
she not even notice the attention he's
हाँ.
giving her, right?
हाँ.
So I think that is very clear that she's too in her head right now to kind of step away and see, oh,
Hmm.
actually, unless he's going to be explicit in the
Yeah.
future, she's
Hmm.
not going to catch on to it.
I really liked that scene, where she's walking, kind of, overthinking things in her head,
Yeah.
to say, okay, oh, they're getting along
Uh,
really well, and why am I feeling this way if they are getting along, or if they are into each other, तो मुझे क्यों बुरा लग रहा है?
hmm,
From his side, ठीक है,
hmm,
and Faryal's side as well, like I could see that whenever he would glance at whenever he would glance at
yeah,
Nashwa,
sure.
Faryal was kind of, also noticing that. So
Yeah.
I don't know whether Faryal is kind of like being a catalyst in this situation, or whether she's genuinely, just like getting to know these two people, and she's, as you said, on just like a, person basis, she is interested in learning more about Barrister Burhan.
Hmm.
Um, but I wasn't clear, even in that chai scene, कि
Hmm.
बैरिस्टर बुरहान की फीलिंग्स किसकी तरफ थोड़ी जरा ज्यादा है. I had थोड़ा सा, I would say 60-40 था, 60% नशवा की तरफ, but
Hmm.
till that very last scene where he's,
Hmm.
thinking
Thinking
that
about the conversation,
हाँ,
yeah.
so even till that point, when they show him, so I said to myself कि जिसके बारे में भी अब ये सोचेगा ना, he's
Huh.
interested in that person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he did think about
Yeah,
Nashwa.
yeah,
So which, kind of like I was like, okay, now it's clear to me that he likes her. She's too much in her own head to
hmm.
understand that.
Hmm.
And I think this dynamic will then, like, in the following weeks will be interesting to see, because
Yeah.
I don't know, did you see the teaser for the next
Yeah, I
episode?
saw. I saw the teaser. Yeah. So
So,
I
she's
think
kind of,
it
huh,
will play out in some way. So that's what I'm saying, right? Like I think Faryal is the type of person. If she likes him, she will find opportunities to know him better and make her point
huh.
very clear to
And
the.
proposed. You know why how she said? I think there was a point to her saying, "Okay, if I like somebody, I'll just
I
say
just go
say it
out
to
and
them."
say it, right?
Huh,
While
huh,
Nashwa is not going to be able to first understand her first feelings, whether actually what she feels. So, unless, as I said, Burhan is very explicit in his
hmm,
behavior or conversation, it's not going to be like an immediate, yeah, yeah, we both get each other, right?
hmm,
And so let's see. I mean, I'm curious because obviously Asim goes like, of course, my son will not have a problem. So,
huh,
but the son is not the type to just listen, right? He's going to be like, no, I'm
yeah,
not interested. So we need to see how that dynamic kind of plays out. I have one point to make, and this is again the continuity thing, right? I felt that here they are now, even though the show is still very tight, still very strong, there are some things which continuity is getting lost, right? For example, like the last episode ended with that fight with
hmm,
and the next, and that the cousin coming and going, like, what happened, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But the
Hmm.
whole
Hmm.
purpose of her being there was to get the
Room.
fiance, right,
Ha.
in. So there was no, like, there could have been, instead of the conversation going like, then the next scene is they're just having chai, right? So it,
Yeah.
like, from
And when they're
escalation
having chai,
to
then you
chai.
can even hear the shadi in the background, which I felt was a bit strange. Like these two people have just, I could hear the shadi in the background at that point also.
There was some background sound, music type, but I
Ha.
don't know what it was. But I just felt the conversation, instead of going from that level to what do you believe in love? Like, there was no, like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
felt the conversation could have been, oh, like, this groom is so completely madly in love with my cousin, and I don't know how I would
Hmm.
be if I was in love. She could have
Yeah.
done it that way, and then that conversation made just logical,
Made
sequential
sense.
sense.
Ha.
Because just
Ha.
to cut from the purpose of that, why the fight happened, to some people even forgetting that उन लोग को मिलना था, right?
Ha.
कि
Ha.
वो so I think there was some, maybe they cut the scene, I don't know what they did, but that continuity
Ha.
was a bit
It
lost.
felt a bit like it felt a bit random and borderline like nosy on Faryal's part. कि आप मतलब एकदम से you're there, somebody's a bit shaken up and all of that, and
Mm.
suddenly like the next conversation exactly is okay. So what do you think love is? You're a bit like the other person would have been like, excuse me, like give me 2 seconds to just
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think
get
it was
ha
immediate, but they could have made the transition a bit smoother, I feel.
ha
So I think they're, and the same, I think they're doing now, they're kind of doing things, they're showing things um, to fulfill an objective rather than continuity of the story, right? For example, this whole,
ha
he going picking them up, he turning up in that room,
ha
all done to just to show the romance, right? They were
ha
not done to fulfill the story. So I think
ha
they're kind of like forcing conversations, forcing scenes just to fulfill an objective, which is not
ha
always good to do. Otherwise, you're losing then logic, pace, and you're kind of
ha which is
questioning
exactly the
what's
point that I
happening.
was making in Faraar earlier, because for me, like it's seeming like they're just showing these characters and introducing these characters
Hmm.
because they want to take them and like close the loop with some other storyline.
Yeah.
So I agree on that there is and also, what do you think about that last scene where the Bisma where Bisma is on the terrace and Amar comes, right?
I didn't understand why they
I didn't
had that
understand
scene.
why they have to put that. So in that scene, what are they trying to show? Amar has basically been MIA during the shadi. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now they're showing him with the joint or with the cigarette or whatever on the rooftop. Okay.
Hmm.
That whole conversation, ke chachi aap AC lagwa lo, all that, I felt like was a little bit to show him in a little bit of a positive light. So I thought, okay, maybe they're softening us a little bit towards Amar, because
Hmm.
पिछली episode में वो scene हुआ where he's protecting her in the fight. This episode we see him and he's saying that to the chachi.
Hmm.
But cut to like 10 seconds later when he's going down and Nashwa is coming up and they bump into each other. Like
Hmm.
again, it's a bit
Hmm.
like, so they start off with that very, देख के नहीं चल सकती, which is like a cousins growing up in the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
house kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
nok
Like,
thok,
hmm.
to suddenly like Nashwa like out of the blue like इस चीज का जिक्र अब इतने टाइम से नहीं हुआ, and she's like, oh कि माहीन का केस दोबारा खुल गया है and बुरहान सर ने खुद लिया है and he's never lost a case and अब तुम अपनी खैर मनाओ because you will be behind bars. Like that's a lot
Of
to say to
escalation of the
somebody.
situation. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
हाँ, like आप
Right.
पिछली एपिसोड में उस बंदे को कहते अपना कमरा दे दो ना यार प्लीज, like the groom, and like you were being like full, like you were being like a cousin, and now suddenly you
Hmm.
have like the tone completely changed in that
Yeah,
situation. And
I don't know why that scene was on the terrace. Like,
हाँ
there was no reason for it. Was it?
हाँ
I didn't understand even the mother's reaction, expression. I just
हाँ
didn't understand what were they trying to
yeah
achieve. Maybe it comes later, maybe it comes now. The
हाँ
objective, so we have to watch. So that for me was a
yeah
waste of space and time.
in this episode, because there's no
Yeah.
even the mother's thing, like okay, I could sense कि अच्छा I thought कि कुछ थोड़ा सा okay, the upside is that they showed Sim and the Khala speaking to each other. So,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
lot came openly in that.
Hmm.
I understand what Asim is saying about, where he says, "Ki, I don't love her, I hate her."
Hmm.
Right? Like, I don't like her. And
Hmm.
then she says, Ke, and he says, Ki, wo to khush hai apni life mein.
Hmm.
Life to
Hmm.
meri tabah hui na. And then the Khala turns around to say, Ke,
Hmm.
she's not happy if that's what you think is
Hmm.
happening. But even उसमें I thought that कुछ ना कुछ इस एपिसोड
Yeah,
में
yeah,
उनका भी फॉरवर्ड थोड़ा सा जाना चाहिए था ट्रैक
yeah. Hmm.
कोई
I think it would have been better if they had shown a conversation with Nashwa after her
हम्म
child, and something about life or something where the mother has a view, and and Nashwa is thinking about that, their conversation between the three of them and the mothers. That would have
हाँ
kind of made, like, shown the sadness the mother is living with. Nashwa could have asked a question, अगर आपको कोई पसंद, आपने कभी नहीं सोचा प्रपोज करना, या like what do you love, is what
हाँ
is love for you, or
हाँ
something like that, and then her sadness could have come across in a different way.
हाँ
But I think, I mean, as I said, these things, if they continue, these errors or these small bits, then the show will have a problem, right? So far, the
हम्म
show has not been that uh, erratic, or it has not been illogical.
हम्म
Certain things are
yeah
now building up in terms of illogicals. So either they need to correct it, or maybe they get
हम्म
corrected, right, over time. So I think we'll have to give it another time, another episode, because I think we've been
हम्म
so happy
spoiled
with it that we don't want to
हाँ
see these. They're very, very obvious mistakes, I feel, that they
हाँ
should not be doing.
हाँ
So you don't expect these obvious mistakes from a show which we've been liking so far.
हाँ especially because you would imagine that all these actors are very strong actors and they by now also know what their characters are.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when they are then doing something which is a bit out of character for them as well, then
Hmm.
again, why is nobody on set kind of,
Yeah, I
questioning
think, I mean,
that?
I wouldn't say it's, yeah, I think besides Ambar, which we all have question marks on,
Huh,
one is really being out of character. I think Nashwa is the one who keeps getting triggered. I think she's someone who gets triggered, right,
hmm,
by him
huh,
constantly. So I think her sudden rampant of, like, this sudden burst of anger is kind of
huh,
her being triggered by the fact that he's roaming around being free when he's done
huh.
something so wrong.
But why? But do you think that's because she's coming from that, confused state of mind where she was at that chai,
No, no, I
she's
think they're
already
too
like,
separate. They're too separate from each other. I think
हाँ, because
she
I felt that was a bit sudden कि एकदम से आप
no,
वही शादी चल रही है आपको एकदम से ये कहाँ से चीजें याद आ गई.
nahin.
But overall, I think it was still an enjoyable episode for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
am still really looking forward to next week's episode.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
want
I
some love story to happen, like
yeah,
in a positive way, not in some weird
huh,
misunderstanding, like some major passionate
huh,
fight. Something
huh.
a bit more mature. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it to become like, कभी कभार जैसे especially this is a hum TV drama, right? Hum TV dramas में ये होता है कि they build up the story to a certain number of episodes, then you're
Uh,
very invested in the love story or in the story itself.
uh,
ठीक है, उसके बाद there is some issue, some
uh,
problem
uh,
for the next many episodes. तो
uh,
जो 60% of the drama होता है ना वो उसकी ड्रैग में चला जाता है. People are not talking to each other, misunderstandings हो गई हैं, something that can be resolved in one episode if you want to, by two people having a conversation.
correct. Okay,
So
got
I
it.
hope they don't
Do
make
that.
it a silly argument or a silly
Uh,
misunderstanding, which can be resolved from an audience's point of view.
uh,
That whatever um, problems they show between the characters or whatever hurdles they show in the love story are intelligent ones, or
Yeah, that's
something
the
that is
thing. The
actually a
conversations
problem.
seem to be much. So far, they've been mature, right? If people have
हाँ
a problem, they have something, they go and speak. It's not like अंदर ही
हाँ
अंदर अंदर ही अंदर अंदर ही अंदर, and then it kind of like, oh, I'm going to
हाँ
be like this tortured soul and never
हाँ
talk to you about it, and I'm
and
going to just
exactly, and everybody so far has somebody to talk to.
correct.
So Nashwa has a mother has like सबके पास कोई ना कोई है. So I hope that continues.
Yeah.
ऐसे ना हो कि जैसे you were saying कि कोई एक character अपने बस overthink करना शुरू कर
Yeah.
दे, and
Oh,
then it
I'll
just falls apart.
sacrifice myself, and oh, I'll
हाँ,
turn into
हाँ,
tortured soul, and
ताकि
oh, oh,
एग्जैक्टली कि अब हम अगली लाइक 10 एपिसोड हम मतलब रोना धोना देखें, और फिर फाइनली लाइक आखिरी 2 एपिसोड्स में
some
सडनली
weird
लाइक
shit.
एवरीथिंग इज फाइन,
Yeah, yeah,
समथिंग हैपेंस, and you're just like, okay, this could have happened like 5 episodes ago, right?
I think what interesting, and I think we're running out of time now, but what was
Hmm.
interesting was her comment to him where she says, like, when you're in jail, you need a lawyer. So,
हाँ,
thank thank your stars that I'm a lawyer. So it
हाँ,
was weird because if she wants him to have be if she wants justice for the friend, then she'll never volunteer to fight his case, right?
yeah,
So that was for
that
me
was
like,
that, हाँ,
why do you have to say that?
unless that's a sign of things to come, okay, they
That's what I
ask
mean.
her
I
to
think
fight the
that is
case.
where the story
हाँ,
potentially can go, where
will
she
go, हाँ,
starts to fight for him or something weird like that.
हाँ. Okay, no, overall I think it was a good episode. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to
I mean,
both
I was very
episodes.
like, ooh, like,
It was
watching it.
cute.
But
It was very cute.
it
It
was cute.
was
It was
very
cute.
cute.
Yeah.
Especially given that the entire episode was over like I think 2-3 hours in the night.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
was
They do
entire.
cover a lot in the show in like
Ha
3 hours. It's their specialty. So I hope they don't
so
lose it now.
ha. No,
Huh.
absolutely. And again, I think strong episodes. Strong episode for Qarz-e-Jaan. Faraar, I'm a little bit on the fence about. But looking forward to next week.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to us, watching us, and those who've been dropping comments as well. Please continue following us, and we will come back next week again with a deeper dive again. Bye.
Bye. Bye.